So I was wondering, what's the best way to dive into this? How can we explore the latest in regards to Anaheim Ducks center Mason McTavish? Because this article by David Pagnotta on the fourth period came out 3 days ago. It was on Friday. It's from last week. But I was like, okay, I want to hold our horses a little bit. I don't want to dive straight into the updates here and just read everything that's on this page, because maybe things will change. But no, it's been 3 days. Things are still the same. It seems like there still is a sizable gap in the Anaheim Ducks and Mason McTavish negotiations. And I know, you clicked on this video because there's another name in the title and thumbnail of this video that you are probably a lot more familiar with. Don't worry, Habs fans, we're not going to take attention away from the Canadiens and the Penguins game. We'll be coming in with a post-game recap once that is said and done as well. But for now, let's go over the latest on Mason McTavish and how the number that he's got potentially or unpotentially aligns with Nick Suzuki. Unpotentially is not even a word, but let's continue over here. Sizable difference in the Ducks and the Mason McTavish camps. This article talks about the 4 RFAs in the NHL who are negotiating contracts, and how there still remains quite a bit of work to do before they lock in their new deals with their respective clubs. Luke Evangelista, Alexander Holtz, Luke Hughes, and Mason McTavish are all in need of new deals. Hughes and McTavish are not with their clubs right now, while Evangelista is currently in Nashville, but Pagnotta suspects he'll head home if a deal with the Predators is not completed in the coming days. McTavish left Anaheim this week and went home to Ottawa, where he first skated with the Ottawa 67s. I'm told he plans on continuing his on-ice training in Smith Falls as his agent Pat Morris and Ducks GM Pat Verbeek try to bridge the sizable gap in negotiations. According to league sources, McTavish is willing to sign a long-term deal in the 7 to 8 year range, worth the neighborhood of $7 to $8 million a year. The Ducks, however, have pitched a 5-year contract worth around $5.5 million a year. For now, McTavish will stay home. No trade requests have been made, and the Ducks aren't entertaining trade inquiries. I don't get the sense there is any hostility right now, but the longer this drags out, the harder it is to keep emotions out of the equation. Talks are ongoing, and we've made a lot of progress over the summer, but we're not there yet, so until we get there, he won't be here. Pat Verbeek told local reporters on Thursday. 2 days in the training camp, nobody wants to overreact either. Yes, the Ducks have a new head coach in Joel Quenneville, and Anaheim's system is changing, but the regular season doesn't start for 2.5 weeks. It's disappointing that McTavish is not here, obviously, Verbeek added. Virtually a whole new coaching staff, and the group's really excited like I've never seen before. There's a new system that's getting implemented. There's a lot of things to learn, and it takes a lot of reps to get it under each player's belt. When Mason gets here, he's got a lot of catching up to do. Man, Pat Verbeek, why are you talking about this like it's Mason McTavish's fault? You're negotiating with the guy. You're talking to his agent. You guys can't agree on a deal. Why are you speaking like it's Mason's choice to not be here because he's not taking our lowball offer? It's you and the agent going out there and trying to sort this out. I honestly doubt that Mason McTavish himself, as an individual, has much say as to what's going on with these contract negotiations. So, honestly, the way it's being talked about here, yeah, of course, like new systems, new coach, new everything. McTavish is probably going to get off to a slow start if and when he does rejoin the Anaheim Ducks. But with all this in mind, I wanted to take a look at a different angle of the Mason McTavish negotiation conversation, as was talked about here on donlescoulisses.com. This was posted a few days ago as well, how Mason McTavish is willing to sign for less money than Nick Suzuki. He's at the center of a complex situation with the Ducks, unsigned for next season, and he's currently with the Ottawa 67s. What we understand is that the Ducks don't seem to want to offer him a long contract. The club wants a transition pact, but still, it doesn't want to know anything about trading him. Here's a tweet from Elliot Friedman. Teams have called. Verbeek has told everybody to get lost. He's not interested in trading the guy. However, we did not know what the figures discussed in the case were, but Pagnotta discussed them in his article. According to the source, the Anaheim Ducks do not want to offer him more than $5.5 million over 5 years, while McTavish would like to sign a 7 or 8 year deal with an AAV of around $7 or $8 million. So obviously, he's willing to sign for less money than Nick Suzuki. It's an interesting way to think about it, especially given the status and the body of work that Nick Suzuki has had. Obviously, Suzuki's a better player. We understand that. But the problem is Nick Suzuki, his contract, it started out in 2022-2023. It has really grown well, I'd say. It goes on till 2030. It's an 8-year deal, of course. But Nick Suzuki is a 90-point caliber center, a captain in the NHL, who's only making $7.875 million. That's a really, really good steal as the cap continues to go up and up and up. But here's the thing. There are other players around the National Hockey League who are taking advantage of the rising cap. Everybody's pointing their fingers to Frank Nazar in Chicago. Hey, wait a minute, that guy's played how many NHL games? And now he's gotten a $6-something million AAV deal? I mean, yeah, say what you want about 21-year-olds doing well, but he's making a lot of money, and he's only played 56 NHL games. Lots to like out of Nazar, not disrespecting him, just using him as an example to showcase how some folks are really taking advantage of the rising cap. Nick Suzuki, he's kind of stuck in this territory where he's going to be making very severe undervalued money comparative to the rest of the league for the next, let's say, 5 years or so. Same you could say about Caulfield, Slavkovsky, and hopefully Lane Hudson. So for Mason McTavish's number to be a lot less and still in that range where it's under Nick Suzuki, I honestly think it's reasonable. It's like, what in the world? How has this not gotten done yet? How has Pat Verbeek not acquiesced and said, okay, we'll give you $7 million over 8 years, Mason McTavish? This guy could realistically become maybe a player who is underneath Nick Suzuki, talent-wise. I don't think he's going to be a 90-point player, but if McTavish is a consistent 70-point guy with some dog-like qualities, I think that's very well possible. He's willing to sign for less money than Nick Suzuki. Considering that McTavish is a big guy who plays center and found his stride offensively last year, it's surprising to see the Ducks not jump at such an offer. You almost have to wonder why. Because at that amount, in a salary cap that's only going to skyrocket, it seems like a very, very good deal for a top 6 center. And obviously, given the Canadiens' connection to Mason McTavish, it's interesting to see that he wouldn't be a problem for the salary structure in Montreal, assuming he'd be willing to sign for the same amount with the Habs. It's logical to think that it would cost the club a lot in a deal, but not necessarily in terms of the actual money you pay for him. In fact, for the moment, the club wants nothing to do with trading him, but as Pierre LeBrun noted, who knows if all that will change if the matter isn't resolved by October. And October is in 10 days. So, with all this in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the latest in regards to Mason McTavish? I say the latest, it's from 3 days ago, but nothing seems to have changed over the weekend. He is still unsigned. There are still negotiations ongoing. He is still reportedly interested in a contract long-term under $8 million, around or underneath what Nick Suzuki ended up getting. Now, of course, we understand that Suzuki, he was a lot better than Mason McTavish was when Suzuki signed that extension. 60-point guy, already budding into a first-line center. McTavish isn't going to be that. Leo Carlsson exists, so does Mikael Granlund and Ryan Strome, so it's going to be a pretty rough patch if he wants to become first-line center material. But he's a 50-point guy himself. He's pretty fine. There's a lot to like out of Mason McTavish, and he's going to continue to grow and get better, as long as, of course, there's a pathway for him to doing so. So with all this in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the sizable gap between the Mason McTavish party and the Anaheim Ducks? And how does that make you feel that it's so underneath what his market value would be if he were to take advantage of the salary cap going up like some other players in the NHL are? Frank Nazar, if he becomes as good as he could be, his $6-point-something million could look like a steal. But we just haven't seen it yet. Mason McTavish is a lot better, but there's still more in the tank. So, with that in mind, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like rating. If you didn't like this video, please leave a dislike. Comments are greatly appreciated for the algorithm as well. I hope you enjoyed this Video sign on, and bye.